So welcome if you're watching the recording. We've just finished our check-ins and arriving to talk now about the Women's Health Week, being that that's coming up soon, and just to hear what's alive in the room about that. So I'll put the talking stick in the middle and would just love to hear what's alive around Women's Health Week for each of you.
I feel very excited that I put forward that I do lead a yoga class, and you enthusiastically replied in the Facebook group. So that was wonderful. And so now I'm just looking forward to understanding more technically how that happens so that the timing can get put into a time that works for everyone.
Thank you. And what's alive for me is to check with sort of when you're available, if you've considered moving that extra half an hour later, or if you'd like to look at other options for during the week.
Yes, so probably both. Because I have been doing a yoga class for the WINC women, the housing women, in that exact time slot, I told them that I would just open up our time slot to more women. And I've already got my own Zoom. So it sounds like that way of setting things up doesn't work particularly well for this situation. So do we use this Zoom when you're doing it through here, or how do you?
Yeah, so that's a great technical question, because the website is actually, I've connected the website to the Wise Women Rising Zoom account so that it automatically creates me a Zoom account every time I create an event, an online event. So it's actually auto-generated a link for this event, so that when people register, that Zoom link gets sent out in the reminders and the emails and things. So what I could do though is change the auto Zoom to your Zoom. The reason why I had reservations was that Samantha's complicated grief session actually is running 1 till 4 on the same day. So if yours started right on 4, and my sense is that as long as it was a different Zoom, and that whether or not we can be mindful in Samantha's room that there may be some of us who would like to also hop into your yoga class, that we finish right on time and then we swap to your Zoom, because if there's any overlay, both the rooms would be trying to open at the same time, and that would be a complication for the account. So that's where I had reservations. But if you would still like, given that you have a regular meeting time with your women and you're inviting us into that, then I'm happy to stand for you using your Zoom and inviting us into it. So I can update the website today.
And I think that I can shift it by half an hour as well. So
well, I was going to say, I'm happy to shift what I'm doing. Like, I can even change the day if you want to space out the workshops. Now, my week's quite flexible still at this point. So, you know, if you want to change the workshops, if people find evening workshops better, I just came up with a random time. So I'm grateful for this conversation, because for me, it's like, oh yeah, I hadn't even thought of that. It was just like, quick, get this workshop out there. So please change my time if it suits in the week with what other workshops are on, or if it suits people to do evening, you know, 5 o'clock's a better time, or, you know, a later one, 7 after dinner, whatever. I'll change. I'm more than happy. So I just want to put that out there.
Thank you, Samantha. That's great. And I'm really appreciating the flexibility. And in terms of doing a poll, could I get a quick round the room of what would be preference? Can I hand the stick to you, Natalie? What would be preference in terms of, it's 1 till 4 at the moment, isn't it? So it's 3 hours. So a 3-hour workshop that Samantha's offering. Just when would you normally enjoy to do a 3-hour workshop, so that we can get a sense of what would work for your time schedule? And then just if we could just hear a few voices about that, because I would love to be able to honour what's most alive in the room here as a sample.
So for me, it would be like 9 to 12 or 1 to 4, like a 3 hours. Probably not in the evening because the day is already full, and yeah, 3 hours would be most likely morning, my favorite, and possibly 1 to 4. That'll be my time. Yeah.
Thank you. Helen, what about for you?
I like to get some work done in the morning if I can. So for me, the 1 till 4 time would be best. Having said that, if everybody else said 9 till 12, that would be fine with me. And I agree with Natalie. I'm finding in isolation, I'm going to bed a lot earlier and getting up earlier. So an evening time for 3 hours would just, sorry, I couldn't do it.
Thanks, Helen. And yes, it's the Thursday that we're looking at the moment. Maybe Shez, to you.
Yeah, morning or afternoon. I do have a joy in walking in the afternoon when the weather's really nice. It's kind of my answer to the question. Well, it depends on the weather, and I can navigate myself around it as well. So I'd be willing to go with the what works for the most people. Yeah, and maybe morning as a preference.
I just looked at my diary and I have something from what would be your time, 11 till 12:15 on that Thursday. So probably for me, I would prefer the afternoon, although, yeah, probably.
And for you, Jeanette.
I just changed back my day, so I work the full day Thursday, and it's hard to get any time out because I was off the last 3 Thursdays, but now I'm back on the Thursdays, and I get off on the Fridays.
Yeah, what day you're not on a Friday?
Fridays, I'm off.
And Samantha, how would Fridays be for you? Because I'm actually thinking, holding care for Jeanette, that she'd be one of the people that might like to be attending your workshop particularly.
But I don't want to change the day just for me. But if
I hear that, and I'm holding care for you and your needs mattering too. And I'm curious because Samantha said she's really flexible about what days she could do, and if it meant that you could come, that's why I'm curious.
Is it something that calls to you, Jen?
Yeah, I'd love it.
Yeah. The Friday is the only day I've kind of committed to do funerals.
I can watch the replay.
A question: is there any of this session, Sam, that will be recorded?
Oh yeah, true.
Any of the informative, instructional part?
Theory.
Yeah. I mean, the majority of it. It's always, it's a moving feast where people share personal stories to enhance the content. So it is a constant flow of information and story and information and story. So I guess it will be up to the group as to who's in it and how willing they are to share the content. So I can't really say when recording is, I will certainly ask for recording consent and for it to be shared amongst our group only rather than making it public, I guess is the way.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant.
So I guess we can offer the recording, but it may not happen, I guess.
Yeah, no worries. Me.
The only other option would be, I'm assuming you're not working on weekends, Jeanette?
No.
So Saturday morning is also a possibility for me to do it on the Saturday morning, if that serves people well.
How does that land in the room? Can I get sort of a wiggles of fingers if Saturday morning would work for you as an option?
Yeah. Could do.
Maybe. There's some maybe energy, not really. Yes.
Don't worry. Next time.
And like you said, I mean, I'm sure there'll be certainly the beginning and introduction, and the explanation, because there will be an educational section at the beginning.
Fabulous.
Recorded, and then when we start to move into sharing of stories, then I will say, ask for consent. So we'll do it that way around, so that some of the strong information will definitely be recorded.
And some people might be willing to have their sherry stored. And for people who don't, they could say, I would prefer it if my story is not recorded, and then you can actually, I don't know,
we can pause it. We could do something. I'm happy to be a tech support on it, and we'll figure out how to do that. I mean, it's not difficult to just pause if people would prefer not. And the other thing that comes up for me is, can I check about a Sunday? Because we did say weekend, and then how is that for you, Samantha? Would a Sunday work?
Sunday. At this point, I'm going to have to say no on that Sunday.
Yeah, because the option of moving earlier in the week, even to because I noticed on the website for Women's Health Week that they're basically events start from the Saturday prior. So the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. So that people have chosen to put events on over that weekend as well at the beginning. So for those of you who are considering your events, if you're watching on the recording, or for a sense of like when to put this in, I hope that hearing some of our voices about when works is constructive. At the moment, all we have booked in is Monday night for the Women's Circle, and looking at the Thursday block with 1 till 4 and then 4 till 4:45 for a 45-minute session of yoga with Barbara. So can I hear from you, Barbara, if we leave Samantha's 1 till 4, if we updated the Zoom link to yours, we could keep it 4 till 4:45 on Thursday and just have both of the sessions one after the other. How is that for you?
I think it would be better to shift it to a 4:30 start, because what I've found is I've opened my room 15 minutes before to just allow people to come in, and that it takes that full amount of time. And I'm pretty confident people will be happy to just shift it all by half an hour.
Okay.
I don't think that would be at all a problem if that actually suits for you guys, because I could always offer it another day that suited this group better as well.
I hear that, and it's sort of nice that you're inviting us into your Wink group. I sort of feel like I'm chuffed that you're connecting our two groups.
I want you to all meet each other. Yeah.
So we can smile and wave at your Wink group. So yeah, look, I'm delighted about that, and I'm really happy that's an easy change to 4:30. And will I add your?
I'll give you a link so that, yeah.
Great. So speaking Women's Health Week, we've also had an offer of a movement session from Annie. So I'll talk to Annie again about timing of that session. So maybe it'll be the Monday, Tuesday, maybe, so that it's earlier in the week and we can sort of space out. And then if there's something else on the Wednesday, and then we've got like a couple of things over the week that, yeah, we can enjoy, look forward to attending together. I do encourage, if you're half thinking about it, to just remember that it's, you know, if you want to, we can close it just to the community if you're wanting just to practice and host something again since the retreat. I would love that. Yes.
Can I just ask something, Karen?
Yeah.
I don't think I can make the Women's Circle on Monday night, but I've been thinking I could offer maybe just an hour of some couple of exercises for developing your empathy muscles.
Love it.
Yeah, and the only hesitation I have is that I'd want to work out how I put a document into the chat, because yeah, it's just a technical thing to make sure people can actually at the time download or get on their computer the sheet of paper that I'd want them to have.
Yeah. I've never actually done it, but I know down where in the chat area, there's a file button. And if you wanted, while we're still together and connected, do you want to go and get a file and just something you're willing to share with us and practice? And just have that file button in the chat?
I do.
All right. Do you want to practice and see if it works? And then we can all let you know if we receive something. It's great because it's co-learning.
Yeah.
I'd love to offer something. I haven't thought about it. I'm just taking it in and trying to figure out what's going on, because I haven't been to Facebook following anything. But I know I could find an hour or two to offer something artistic and arty-crafty and relaxing. If that's appropriate.
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, one of the things, maybe Shez, would you be willing to share about the theme?
Ooh. Click to download. Oh.
And I won't be able to be at Sam. I'm working on a Thursday afternoon. I thought I'd throw that in because I was looking forward to it, and then I had to paddle back thinking, oh, I can't be there. So that's okay.
I just want to say this is like open space in action. For those who haven't participated in open space. So my vision sense of the Monday night call is actually to do a bit of an exploration of how people relate to loss and grief. And it's also become clear to me that some losses we might have sadness about, and also gladness. Some of the losses that we've experienced actually great. And both can be true at the same time. So what I'm thinking of is exploring what our losses are and why it's important to pay attention to them and turn towards them rather than away from them, no matter how small or they might seem, because there is a cultural, I think people are going to be more open to it now, but there's been a cultural ethos of, I don't want to go there. I want to be positive, upbeat, that kind of attitude. And my experience is with myself and other people is that actually turning towards it and going through brings us, like I even thought about calling it how to find more joy. Because I liked the fizz and sort of presenting something of what comes out of it rather than what it is. Like, oh, we're going to look at loss. It's like, who'd want to do that? Maybe. So I'm curious about how that lands with people. And then, so I wanted to do it as an exploration of some theory, as I understand it from my work and my experience, and then have another event where people can come to and give some prep work so people could come and participate in a ritual about something that, because the power of ritual is something that I really value and want to share more. And I love the idea of having a +1. You mentioned that, Karen, about, who else would we have come? And hearing Barbara's, I've got people in my Let's organisation that I thought I would invite. They know me, they know my work, and they might enjoy to come. And when you spoke, Barbara, about the wing, it's like, oh, that's what I was thinking, having my two kind of organisations coming together a bit. So that's and also in my original vision, it was that there are many different ways to turn and face and be with the sense of loss and grief. Art, music, poetry, movement, you know, body, whatever. And I did have this sense that other events might pop up that people, you know, just as we're called to, you know, pop into something that might be a different way of being with our sense of loss and grief. Whether it's something that we're, you know, sad about or glad about. So I guess what I want to do on the Monday night is really set a context and a shared understanding of why are we doing this thing? Why you know, why are we looking at grief and loss? And I hope to be able to, I don't know, transmit us the creative power of it. Yeah. Creative, healing, connecting. Like I have got a full rush of goose, like up my back, in my whole body. Like I actually get excited about grief because it's it's potent. It's dark, and in that darkness is so much power and potency that if we can be with it, then we. And I also want to acknowledge it's not always easy. However, doing it with others and having a witness is also, I guess, in my experience, amplifies the power of it. And I've got some stories that I want to tell in the Monday night session that actually really clearly demonstrate that in a community setting from the work that I've done. I'm moving, I'm grooving.
Body resonance from your power of sharing there, Shez. I feel excited as well. And I have such a sense of emotional safety coming into a space that like that is like just to explore it and be curious, like see what it means to all of us and have that container set. And I almost want to ask that we do it as a practice whenever we have a retreat or a get together process like this. Like at the moment we're gifted because Women's Health Week has said, you know, women, we're here, come and do something. And so we've gone, oh yes, okay, as a community we could do that, and we're starting to rise to the occasion and put some things together. I'm also like, oh, we could do this again. We don't have to wait for Women's Week to invite us. We could, you know, start to plan our next one as well. And maybe when we do the next one, whether it's the end of this year or whenever, is that we set a container evening for the start of whatever we do and create a theme so that we can bring ourselves into that sort of, I don't know, I've got like storytelling and yeah, space of exploration together. Yeah, anyway, there's joy here. Anyone else who would like to respond, having heard Shez's offer?
Can I just
think that, oh.
You go,
Go on.
Shez.
I just wanted to add something, because this is being recorded. I want to acknowledge big grief, big loss. And whilst I even get excited about that from a place of reverence and care. I just wanted to really include that. And I know it from my, you know, my work with other people and with myself. So I just want to be really clear that I'm not in any way attempting to, with my excitement, make light of something that's difficult. It's just after I came back into my body, I wanted to add that. Thanks.
And that's why I think I'm delighting in the fact that Samantha's offering what she's offering to really be the space uniquely for the death and dying and funerals and where it's more complicated grief. And like, I feel really grateful, Samantha, that you're bringing that piece. And I actually have this sense of like, on a spectrum, grief has so many, and mourning has so many shades and variations and expressions. And like, I'm super grateful now, Natalie, that you're offering something in the art space, because for me, that just speaks to all that myriad of ways that we can dive in even without words. And then I'm hearing, Chris, this piece from you about the empathy muscles. Like, when someone else is experiencing grief around us, how do we respond? Like, how can we be in a place of empathy and improve our capacity to be with other people in their grief? So that's what speaks to me really clearly as a beautiful contextual way of bringing those skills to bear, if that resonates with you. Thank you. And maybe, yeah, Samantha.
I just want to say, as I'm listening to the different pieces of the jigsaw puzzle around grief and loss rising up, and that yeah, grief is a whole spectrum, and where we're all sitting on it. Shez, I hear you being at that end where we've learned how to celebrate grief and enjoy it and dive into its depths and find its creative potential, and because that's, you know, grief is the process of creating something new, essentially, and also while acknowledging the paradox of our absolute resistance and not wanting to change when we're at the hard edge of where the loss has occurred. And just that the inspiration for my talk in that week was really around the whole COVID thing and how so much control is being taken away from us in the process. And that I work as a nurse, and so I'm able to understand the hard edge institutionalized version of grief, and working in a funeral company as well, and how people hand over their power to these institutions, and where grief is created becomes more traumatized and more complex and complicated by that reality. So that's kind of where my workshop is, more at that edge of it, and how we deal with the current societal structure of grief and institutionalized experience of grief, and then we're left with the train wrecks of people with that, and then we move into tools that you're talking about, the creativity shares and the celebration and the being able to grow with grief and understand how to sit with it, and the empathy muscle that is so needed by us all when it comes to it because of the darkness of it. So I just kind of wanted to create an overarching understanding of there is a spectrum of grief, from the deepest, darkest place where we're devastated to the lightness of love and joy that is also grief on the whole journey. And it's beautiful to see. It's like we're almost all picking up the jigsaw pieces, and even the yoga, I'm going, that's perfect. It's perfect to have embodied movement, centering, like we're all connected. Like there's 9 squares of different aspects of the grief going on. So it was really lovely to feel the pieces all coming in. And yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge what I was seeing.
Thank you, Samantha. Wah! I feel like excited, delighted, and respect. Like there's respect here for all the ways that grief shows up and where we all might be in our journeys with grief in different areas of our lives, and like to just let it be uncomfortably not quite perfect in a sorted box. Like that's delightful. That's, to me, we're in the authenticity and the humanness of it. I'm sort of now feeling a little sad that we only have a few minutes to go. I'm guessing you're going to jump off again in a minute. Jeanette, is there anything that you would like to share before you exit?
I was thinking I'd love to share it with the tandem members. So I work with, Karen, but for everyone else, I work with people that are in caring roles for somebody with a mental health illness or AOD challenges, and I just think this would be ideal. They'd love it. And yeah, the poetry thing is there, but I had in my head about like linking in with somebody and like combining sessions, kind of a thing. So I'm still sitting on it.
I'm
Mm.
really fine with if people are sitting on it and want to come to the opening circle maybe, or the women's circle, and then collaborate, like reach out to others. And this is ideally what the hub would be for, is that you would go back to your hub and say, oh, I'm sort of sitting with, and maybe if we, you know, someone else would like to do some storytelling and someone else would like to do something, and maybe we could joint venture, is big fancy word for just like the three of us or two or three of us could get together and host a circle. So it's not all on my shoulders if it's not something you want to do on your own. And that's, you know, that's one of my dreams for the hub space, that it gives you possibility of just asking for playmates for things like this.
I literally dropped out, so I just came back in when you said, when you said something about running a circle.
Yeah, like maybe asking some playmates from
Yeah, I've been inactive on Facebook, but I must jump on and do that work.
Well, thank you, and see if you pop and ask out there, you don't, you know, maybe there'll be some supporters to coordinate with something. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Have a lovely rest of your day.
Yeah, have a lovely week. Chat soon.
Chat soon. And Helen's had to jump off for, yes, she would have her mum's music session happening. So I just want to check in. Could we have maybe 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes? How is that for those of us who are still here? Yeah? Thank you. Awesome.
I've only got 5.
You've got 5, okay. Well, Samantha, can we come to you? I just want to confirm then with you that the 1 till 4 time on Thursday, and to that I've done the edits if you wanted to check on the website. Okay. And let me know if there's anything else that you would like to add to it. I have put entry by donation as an offering at the bottom, and I'm really happy to explore that. I see that as being part of what might emerge of us doing these practice offerings, is that we just let people know that if you're willing and it's alive for you to make a donation, that we give some option to provide that. So I do have a strategy called Razorly, and if you wanted to check, have a look at the Razorly site. It's raise, the word raise with L-Y on the end. I actually have a Wise Women Rising Razorly account, and we can all set up inside that one, Wise Women Rising account, we can all set up our own little donation portal, so that when we host things, we can also have it linked for people to go and contribute something if they'd like to. So I'm seeing you nodding, Barbara, and I'm wondering if you would like to add it for this purpose for this week. And I think it's a wonderful next step for us. I'm not seeing it as a paid workshops option, because I think that's once we graduate out of Wise Women Rising when we're offering paid, and we might actually straddle both being in the community and starting to offer paid workshops outside the community that, you know, community members might like to come to. But I see that that's the distinction, that inside Wise Women Rising, we're really looking at how do we time trade and support each other to rise, to be ready to go and be charging for what we do in ways that feel resonant for us. So in the donation space, really happy to support that, and have got a mechanism to do that if that's alive for you. So let me know if you would like a donation button put on the bottom of your, so at the moment I've just got a note there, Samantha, but I just wanted to check that with you and announce that a little more, and like find the tech to start adding buttons.
Okay, great. Thank you. All good.
I wanted to talk about hubs. Please aren't letting me. 1 second.
I have a question which may be good for all of you that are here right now. So, you know, the Wink women, they'll come to my yoga thing, but am I able to invite them to other things, or are we just sort of keeping it as an in-house idea and the extra groups are coming to just a single event?
Such a good question. And I don't know quite how to answer that on behalf of everyone. I certainly can't answer it as far as how other people feel about it. So I'm wondering about maybe we each nominate that. Whoever's facilitating nominates that. Like we have said that the women's circle at the beginning is open. Okay. So that's an open event. So that means you could invite the Wink women to that. There was an open space offered. And because that one is also being promoted on Women's Health Week website as well. So there's a possibility, I don't know, there's a million now. It went up like a couple of hundred since I last looked, but you know, there's a huge amount of choice there on that website. I don't imagine that, who knows, we may get someone from there. And at the same time, the intention has been set for the circle being a space that can hold and invite other new women into it. So, and I'm guessing, Samantha, that that's true for you? Yeah. So I would enjoy, because that reminds me, I want to put now that your event is clear, I want to put a link across to Women's Health Week to the public website for you. So just make a note to do that. Thanks. So is there more about Women's Health Week before I just spend a couple of minutes on the...
Don't think so. Oh, I did put something in the chat about the ritual piece, because I recall we talked about doing it on, you and I, Karen, talked about doing it on the Wednesday. Yeah,
I'd be really happy to do that. And I have this sense of it needs to be dark to do the ritual. Like nighttime. Something in my bones says it's like why we used to gather around fires and under the moonlight as women to do these sorts of things. Like, I don't know, I have a very, a notion that being in the dark actually supports the harvesting of the yumminess of a ritual. So can I propose Wednesday night for this one? And I do have a preference of a time to start, and that way I could build that event page.
I don't think I'd want to start before 7.
No. Well, how about we make it 7, and do you want to make it 2 hours? All right. And would you be willing to send me some words about it so I can add that and start building that one?
And I was also thinking that if they're, depending on the number of people, we could actually break into 2 rooms so that we could have a sense of the small campfires.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Okay.
More for people and that sense of, I don't know, intimacy, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see how we can trust that we can support the space if that's what happens. So yeah, I have like ease here in my chest. I have a sense of like, oh, there was a little bit of a, oh, I wonder if we can do this as a community, show up for Women's Health Week. And so I have this gratitude here, like, oh, thanks so much. Like, what a precious thing that there's a few of us stepping forward to help create something for Women's Health Week. And it's our health. It's our mental health. It's our beautiful, you know, grieving health. It's our health with how we are navigating these times. It feels super precious to have all of your company for me to navigate these times. So I'm so grateful that we have each other for these sessions and the willingness and generosity of heart. Really want to thank you for stepping up to offer things. It's beautiful. And Natalie, would you be willing to ponder how you would talk about yours and what title you might give it and what time of the week? I know it's a lot to put on you. And if you like, it might be something that you could discuss in your hub, which is sort of good that if we go there next, maybe there's a chance this week that your hub could be supporters to what gets created. So, and it could be a collaboration even. So let me just speak to the hub and check in with you, Cheryl. I understand that you are well, actually, I got a message from Cora this morning saying that she'd had some trouble with the website. So I just want to speak briefly to that too. I know that she's not alone in having struggles with the website. And I just want to say thank you for your patience with me and this website. It is just a work in progress. And I've done so much in the last week to revamp it and try to simplify it and try to make it more easeful. And I really want the hubs to be something gentle and easy for you. I'm exploring how to do that, because one of my challenges is that we've actually got two websites. We've got the public website side, which is the pages that everybody can access. And then we've got the private website, which is all of us members who want privacy and safety, that our retreat recordings and our hubs and everything that we're doing isn't public. So you got to go, Samantha. Bye, love. Yeah, that's okay. Talk soon. So I just want to acknowledge that it's a process to get our heads around the website, and I'm working as best I can to continue to simplify it. Please give me your actual observations where you struggle. So when I hear I'm struggling with the website, I don't know how to fix that. But if I was to hear every time I log in, I get bumped out, something like that, like really observational. Yeah.
Maybe even a screenshot of what they're seeing.
Yeah, that would be great. Some real details so that I can address it as best as I can, or find fixes for the thing.
For Cora, it was the approval screen that was the issue. She actually sent me a screenshot of
Oh, did she? Great. Okay, so approval. Could you send that to me?
Yeah.
Thank you. Approval screen. Like getting approval in the hub.
Yeah, the big screen that says you're not approved for this site, so she can't get in. It's just a white screen with not approved. That one.
Right. Well, I haven't seen it. So yes, please send it. And I'm thinking that one of the other members has had a struggle because she had two email addresses, and she'd signed in with one time and then thought that she'd used a different email address and was attempting to sign in with that one and kept getting bumped out. So that can be confusing, and and there's plenty in the website that I can probably do to make things easier. Please bring them to me. I want to find ways to make the website easier and improved. This is part of being a pilot space, so that your feedback really matters to me. Okay, back to the hub. It's 8 past.
I thought Natalie's trying to say something.
Oh yeah, trying to. The hub has been hard to connect with the hub. It's I keep on having to request my new membership, but just the first time I was in, we're doing a visual art hub and can't put a picture on it. So just simple that as visual members, I think being able to put little videos or visual is essential. And I'm not sure they will be the best way to communicate. And Cheryl and I, we haven't been able to, to have a time to just catch up and say, hey, what are we going to do there? Because I have ideas, like even offering something for the Women's Health Week. I had to first understand what it was about today. And I think I saw this theme of grief and loss is wonderful. And so I'd love to fit in that and the ritual and making things together. So I don't know how it's extra work if I want to try to find to collaborate. So I don't know what's the priority. Offer something this week or try to collaborate. And I'm saying try because I'm used to work by myself, and finding synergy and collaboration may happen very naturally or not. And I found like so far the hub has been bumpy, like technology, so there's no flow there. So I'm thinking, okay, not making it wrong, because I love what Cheryl is doing, and I can see in the future some collaboration and some synergy, and even with Jen as poetry. I mean, there's a lot of things how the hub can work together, and circulating an idea. Like even when I'm hearing Sherry talking about ritual and loss and grief and joy and depth, I'm right there with the hands-on process. How can I make it fit in and be a companion of a process? So there are all those questions, and to be honest, I don't spend as much time. I spend as less time as I can in front of the screen lately. So I've lost the thread of what's going on with Wise Woman Rising, and I made a point to be here on Monday, but then I feel like whoop 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 whoop. If you lose some, it's like when you miss a few episodes of a series. You get to catch up what this one has done and said, and it takes a little while. So yeah, my bloop. So I'm a bit sad not to be able to attend to Sam. I love to be there on Monday night, to be with you, Sherry, and Karen. I'll try on Wednesday night. I think I'll be free. And maybe we can talk with Cheryl or you, Karen, if there's a space where I'm free. I think sometimes on Wednesday, jump in and offer the process. I have this little baby I want to promote, because here I am in Byron Bay and we feel very free. There's no lockdown, and I keep on thinking about how to bridge and keep on bringing some remembering the connection, like all kind of things that we haven't lost yet here, and hopefully we'll never do. I don't know. That's another conversation.
Yeah, look, I think it's a really important one, and so thanks for being honest and open and authentic, like all those beautiful, like, thank you for your sharing. It means a lot. I want to support the ease. My understanding is in the hubs you can share video and pictures. So I'm going to go, so that's odd that you're not experiencing that. Cheryl, do you want to jump in?
I actually haven't tried to put a picture up in the hub. I have been able to put comments. Initially I wasn't able to, but you did something, so that changed. So I'm feeling like it's a progression, that things will slowly fall into place. And Nat, I really feel like, because we're the first ones, we're the testers. So all the mistakes are going to happen in our hub, hopefully, because then we can sort it for other people, and that's just the learning of it all.
Yeah, and at the same time, sorry, I'm interrupting. I just had my birthday as well lately, and it was wonderful on the Monday of my birthday to open my phone and iPad and be receiving the love from 5 different platforms. And staying open to receive. So now we got text and Messenger and WhatsApp and Telegram and Facebook. And I don't know if I have room for more platforms to communicate. This is just my truth. I'm just already overwhelmed with the number of platforms. So this is where it stands now. And I saw here, so that's my truth, as raw as it is right now. Love to find ourselves, Cheryl, on a super comfy hobby bob where we can share our visual way, because that day I wanted to respond to your comment, and my way is to send a picture, and I can send a picture. I will talk in drawings, and I couldn't. So that was straight away I found that out. But I'm also aware that I'm starting to want to throw the baby the bath in the water, too much Zoom, too much platform, too much And even now I'm receiving a message from my daughter saying, "Mom, you're too loud in the garden." So here you go. Big brother is watching. But yes, this is this is where I'm at. And we'll see. I'm happy to but I tend to want to say, "Hey Cheryl, let's go on WhatsApp. It's easier to chat there."
I really want to support that. Like, actually, what I'm want is that the hubs become their own independent management, and if the space is just to help create the hubs in the beginning from the website, but then you launch into your own management and you have your own platform where you prefer to hang out and you have your own documents and you have your own sharing, like I super support that. And it's really only that once a quarter the request is that you come back and record something or share a session with us and tell the rest of the community how you're going in your hub once a quarter. So
could the hub be just being on Zoom and doing a session live together and record it and made it available?
Yeah, it can.
I don't know.
You can do it in whatever ways occur to you as the most alive and easeful. I mean, certainly that's what I've done here with the Monday calls for the community, is just to record what we do and share it on the Facebook page, so that for people who would like to stay with the series and not miss any episodes, they can catch up with the recordings on the Facebook page. So yeah, I mean, I really want for it to be easeful, because actually we want to spend our time doing the work as opposed to doing all the platforms. And I really get that. So it's like, I want to find the balance between the technology that serves us, not make it all about the community has to come to the website. That's not what I'm about. I'm wanting to find a way to make the website service the needs in the community, and then also to find ways to meet our own needs in harmony with that. So
if I want to offer something next week that is supportive of what's offered already, who do I talk to? What do I do?
Okay.
What do I send something?
You
Like
can.
it would have been now, but it's just the idea came now, thinking, yeah, that'd be nice to do something arty, but it doesn't have to be.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm very happy to receive any offers by email with a title and a description and a when you'd like to run it, and and then I can talk to you about it. So let's maybe rest it for the moment and come back to how do we navigate the hub forward between the Visual Arts Hub, Healing Hub, and myself, so that I can help that flourish. I did want to talk about the NVC Hub briefly and offer some of the experience that we've had over there, which has got started and has actually started to had its first meeting. So I was sort of excited to share about that. And also just wanted to check, we're now over time, so I'm happy to move that to next week. My sense is it'll be an evolving story, and we do have Women's Health Week right now in our full sites. So I mourn that we haven't got to the place where we can share some enthusiasm for that hub and the fact that it started, and that I do want to support ease and flow primarily. So that's, my longing, and I'm so grateful to have your company to work it all out, so that, hopefully by beginning of next year we can start to invite our friends in and other people and start to see it be easeful and fun, and a contribution. What I feel most joy is seeing women's precious work being seen, known and shared, and that courage and confidence is built, and that the world gets to see and feel the richness of a life where women's work is embedded and community is restored. Like, I have social well-being, passion, and I feel teary that we are doing so much in that regard. So thank you for being with me in it. Any checkouts? Shall we go around and just hear each other's voices before we say goodbye? Barbara, can I pass to you?
Sure. It's very exciting to hear everyone's ideas percolating, and I'm leaving feeling quite enthusiastic about the Women's Health Week next week. Jez.
Yeah, me too. And just when you said women's work, Karen, I remember once upon a time there was a women's work, what women's work meant, and how this is redefining it. Yeah, I think that's it for me. I really, with you, Natalie, and there's the sitting in the question, it's like, how do I, the process you're in of like, how do I navigate all these different platforms and have my life work? And it's such a beautiful question to sit with, and because we don't want to be doing machines. Chris.
Yeah, something about loving. It's almost like each person on the screen is a part of myself. You know, Karen earlier said something about even if you're just someone's feeling a little hesitation, but a little bit of an idea, and I went, oh, that's me. And then Natalie, you're expressing this stuff about, oh, too many platforms and I don't want to spend my life in front of the screen, and oh, that's me. And it's like everyone's just, oh, there's me too. I'm enjoying that. We go jump to Natalie.
Yeah, thank you for voicing that, Chris. Yes, I'm a bit of I feel this as well, and I've had to express that aspect of myself, because I'm more on this creative time where it's hands-on and it's completely connected, and it feels meaningful and this yes. But anyway, today I have more clarity about what you have been cooking, and I feel really happy to hear that. I may just let it go and go slow and just percolate my enthusiasm and see if I can offer something else a bit at a later date, and just take care of my need instead of wanting to contribute and participate. So I think that's a lesson for myself today, humbly. Thank you.
You, Cheryl.
You know, that whole waiting, and that's where I'm feeling, but it sparked the thought of, gee, you could actually just create something together in the hub that could become one of your offerings as a practice in the meantime. And there's so many ways to play. It's just opening up ideas, and I'm loving that. So yeah, thank you, everyone. Yeah, it's a really nice way to spend an hour. You guys are amazing. Karen, I think it's your turn.
Oh, I was just soaking in the yumminess of you and your share, and this sort of enthusiasm for being together that I also feel. So I'm leaving with joy. I'm leaving with sense of living, mission, purpose, being in alignment with my values, and so grateful. Yeah, and in the fun, actually. I'm in the fun of like, this is playtime, yay! Like, then there's more to have, like more playtime, yay! So I feel a bit of the joyful child place in me is very, yeah, feels really rich. And yeah, so yeah, maybe message me if there's more alive that you would like to share and you want to start to create an event. And if you don't, I'm so grateful that, Natalie, you be in the place of honoring your needs and you're resting and going gently. That just, oh my gosh, that's just like icing on this beautiful cake today. So thank you so very much. And I look forward to seeing all your faces again next Monday, if not before. So let's stay in touch. Keep me connected to what you're up to, and yeah, we'll talk soon. Bye, everybody. Bye for now. Lots of love. Bye.